Just give me a chance.
When The Sixth Sense hit theaters in 1999, it didn't just scare audiences, it shocked them. Everyone remembers the twist. The child psychologist who's been helping a boy who sees dead people is actually dead himself. But what made that ending genius wasn't the shock value, it was the craftsmanship. Every single clue was right there in front of us, hidden in plain sight. This is the full breakdown of how The Sixth Sense tricked us all. Every hint, every visual breadcrumb, and how M. Night Shyamalan built one of cinema's smartest twists without ever cheating. 1. The setup that distracts you. The film opens with Dr. Malcolm Crowe, a respected child psychologist, celebrating an award with his wife, Anna. The mood is warm, romantic, safe, and then, it's shattered. An intruder, Vincent Gray, a former patient, appears in their bathroom, broken, trembling, muttering about how Malcolm failed him. Vincent shoots Malcolm, then kills himself.
You just give me a chance.
It's brutal, fast, and emotional, the perfect distraction. Because at that moment, you assume what any moviegoer would, that Malcolm survived. The film cuts ahead in time with no hospital scene, no funeral, no explicit mention of his death. Just a quiet. Months later. That's clue number 1. Shyamalan never lies to you. He just doesn't confirm what you assume. The edit jump creates a false sense of continuity. You think you've seen a recovery, but in truth, the story has already crossed into the supernatural. 2. The cold distance between Malcolm and Anna. From the moment we see Malcolm again, something feels off between him and his wife. Anna is silent, detached, and heartbreakingly cold. They sit at dinner together, but she never looks at him, never speaks, never even acknowledges his presence. The audience reads this as a marital rift, maybe fallout from his work obsession or the trauma of the shooting. It's a perfect misdirection. But this distance isn't emotional, it's existential. Anna can't see or hear Malcolm because he's a ghost. There's a brilliant moment when she drops the check at dinner and says, "Happy anniversary." Malcolm smiles sadly, thinking she's ignoring him. But when you rewatch it, it's devastating. She's talking to his memory. The empty chair across from her isn't being occupied by anyone at all. This is Shyamalan's master trick, using realistic emotional pain to mask supernatural logic. We believe the silence because it feels human. 3. The rule of red. If you look closely, you'll notice something subtle. Every time the spirit world crosses into the real world, the color red appears. Cole's red tent. The red balloon at the birthday party. The red doorknob Malcolm can't open. Even Anna's red dress at dinner. Red symbolizes the boundary between life and death, a visual alarm bell we don't realize we're hearing. Malcolm's repeated attempt to open that locked red basement door is one of the film's most overlooked clues. He believes it's locked. In reality, the doorknob is just missing. He's subconsciously refusing to face the truth that he's not in his own house anymore. Every time he reaches for it, his hand passes the threshold of his old life, but never crosses. 4. The illusion of interaction. One of the biggest reasons the twist works is because Shyamalan carefully constructs every scene to look like Malcolm is part of the world, but he never actually interacts with anyone besides Cole. Watch the scenes again. In the church, no one acknowledges him when he arrives. When he visits Cole's house, Lynn never looks at him. He's standing there when she comes in, but there's no greeting, no eye contact, no acknowledgement. We assume they've already met, but the film never says so. The genius lies in editing and staging. When Malcolm and Lynn share a space, Shyamalan frames them so it looks like a normal conversation is happening, but they're never actually facing each other. We fill in the blanks because our brains crave continuity. It's cinematic misdirection 101, the illusion of communication without a single spoken word. 5. The temperature drops. In Cole's world, every time a ghost appears, the temperature plummets. Breath fogs the air. This detail isn't just a horror device, it's a consistent rule of the film's supernatural logic. When you rewatch the movie, you'll notice that this happens around Malcolm too. His presence is often marked by that same chill. In his first session with Cole, the boy's breath fogs slightly. In his house, Anna wraps herself in blankets. It's subtle but deliberate, the world reacting to something it doesn't consciously register. Shyamalan doesn't break his own rules, he just hides them in plain sight. 6. Malcolm's selective memory. One of the biggest, unseen, clues is Malcolm's own memory gaps. He never questions how he got new patients after the shooting, how Cole's case was assigned to him, or why no one else has mentioned his recovery. He always seems slightly out of sync, arriving late, forgetting details, or missing time. He's caught between moments like someone half awake in a dream. But the brilliance is that it never feels unnatural, it just feels like the behavior of a man under stress. When he sits down to write notes about Cole, we see his breath on the page, as if he's alive. But there's no physical evidence of him in the world. No one else reads his files, no one calls him, no one speaks to him besides the boy who sees ghosts. 7. They don't know they're dead. When Cole finally confesses his secret, "I see dead people," he also gives us the movie's key rule: the dead don't know they're dead. They see what they want to see. That one line is Shyamalan literally explaining his own twist to the audience, right in the middle of the film. Cole isn't just describing random ghosts, he's describing Malcolm himself. Everything about Malcolm fits that description. He walks around doing his old job. He thinks his wife is ignoring him. He can't open locked doors. He doesn't realize that no one else interacts with him. Cole's line is both confession and exposition, the twist spelled out halfway through the movie, but disguised as a moment of horror. 8. The birthday party incident. At Cole's birthday party, a group of older kids lock him inside a small cupboard. They laugh, thinking it's a joke, but when Cole starts screaming, it becomes something much darker. When the door opens, Cole is unconscious, bruised, and terrified. The camera pans to the closet's interior, red wallpaper, cold air, and a ghostly presence we never quite see. But the real clue isn't about Cole, it's about Malcolm. He arrives after the event, with no one reacting to his presence, not even Lynn. He appears suddenly, like he was never really there to begin with. The world continues on without him. Every time he enters or exits a scene, the transition feels like a dream cut. No one opens a door for him, no one greets him, he just appears. That's not sloppy editing, it's deliberate ghost logic. 9. The locked basement. The locked basement door is one of the film's most subtle and crucial clues. Malcolm tries to open it repeatedly, fumbling with keys, growing frustrated. He thinks Anna's locked it because she's angry with him. Later, we learn that it's not locked at all, it's the door to the basement where his body lies. The doorknob is red, marking it as a boundary between the living and the dead. When he finally walks through it in the final act, it's because he's ready to see the truth. Everything he couldn't face, literally and emotionally, was behind that door the entire time. 10. Anna's affair. Throughout the movie, we see Anna growing closer to another man, her co-worker from the jewelry store. We assume she's moving on, that she's emotionally cheating on Malcolm. But when you realize Malcolm's dead, those scenes take on an entirely new meaning. She isn't betraying him, she's grieving him. The man she meets for dinner isn't a lover, he's a friend gently trying to pull her back to life. When she cries and says, "Happy anniversary," she's talking to the memory of her husband, still wearing his ring, the same ring Malcolm believes he still has. That ring is the ultimate clue. It's been gone from his hand the entire movie, but because of clever framing and our own assumptions, we never notice. Only when it drops from Anna's hand at the end does the illusion collapse. 11. The final realization. When Malcolm sees that ring fall, he finally understands. He replays the entire film in his mind, every silence, every cold breath, every ignored word. The truth hits with devastating clarity: he never survived the gunshot. The genius of this reveal isn't just that it surprises us, it recontextualizes everything we've seen. What looked like a story about a doctor helping a frightened boy becomes a story about a ghost being helped by a living child. The therapist needed therapy. The healer needed healing. Malcolm's unfinished business was never with Cole, it was with his wife, with himself, and with the guilt of failing Vincent Gray. When he lets go, his world warms again, and he fades peacefully into the light. 12. Why the twist still works decades later. What makes The Sixth Sense timeless is that the twist doesn't rely on trickery. Shyamalan doesn't lie, he just lets the audience assume, and in doing so, he turns the act of watching into the act of self-deception. Every visual cue, every sound, every absence of interaction follows its own logic. The clues are fair, consistent, and right there for anyone who's paying attention. It's not about ghosts, it's about perception, denial, and human connection. We see what we want to see, just like Malcolm. 13. The emotional punch. When the film ends, Cole's story also finds resolution. He finally confides in his mother, telling her that he can see and speak to the dead. She doesn't believe him until he shares a message from her late mother, something he couldn't possibly know. In that moment, Lynn believes, and for the first time, both of them find peace. Malcolm, too, says goodbye to Anna with the words, "You were never second." It's a love story disguised as a ghost story, a tale about letting go, not being haunted. That's why The Sixth Sense endures. It's not just about seeing dead people, it's about learning to see truth, love, and grief clearly, without fear. Every clue in The Sixth Sense was deliberate. Every red object, every missing handshake, every silent dinner scene was a whisper from the afterlife. The twist didn't trick us, we tricked ourselves. Night Shyamalan didn't hide the truth, he framed it in plain sight and trusted us to overlook it. And that's why, 25 years later, The Sixth Sense remains one of the smartest, most emotionally resonant mysteries ever made, a film that still gives you chills when you realize you were watching a ghost story, told by the ghost himself.